Alright, good day, hi and welcome. Okay, I thought of another idea for a video. Watch out. First, check out my hat, I'm close. Anyway, okay, pronatalists. There's a lot of promotion of antinatalism, antinatalists all over the internet, right? Whatever. And you don't see that much pronatalist because it might be sort of wrapped in something else, right? So you don't really see people making the argument. And the one thing I've seen over the years is we're not going to get into the pro-choice thing, but men that advocate for women having children, okay? There's certain select groups that are really known for this. And I've heard women on, all kind of sides of the spectrum, politically or whatever, their take on it. But it does seem that they do find it strange that men would advocate for, pronatalist. Like why would it matter? Like, why would it matter to them? And therein lies the rub. It matters because the human species is based upon procreation. You know what I mean? So instinctively, men are going to be just as maternal in a lot of ways, although it's approached differently than what women are. So usually the argument goes something like, well, unless you have children, you shouldn't be advocating for children. And I'm like, okay, now I can understand it from this far out. Okay, you're telling me I have to have kids because you think it's the right thing to do and whatever, or whatever it is. I'm like, no, it's not about you. It's not even about those children. It's about out here. It's about the future. Without children, we can't have futures. It's as simple as that, right? So I think there's a miscommunication there of the intentions of why men would advocate for not so much just the nuclear family. The nuclear family is not is wrong. We need to have the extended family back. The nuclear family was already the deterioration of society. Because with the extended family, once you understand, I'm not saying 20 people have to live under one roof, but what I'm saying is the closer your family is together, aunts, uncles, grandparents, etc., grandkids, etc., the more community you have. Now, when you have overlapping families, extended families living within realm of each other, this farmhouse, that farmhouse, or one group of family, and then that farmhouse, okay, it's two different families, but their cousin is over here, the brother's over here, the sister's over here, etc. And then suddenly what you have is kind of like clans meeting together, because you end up getting, even though you might, like extended family is not just maternal family, it can be part of your community. I live in a small community, this is how I understand this. Most people in a small community might understand it, even if they don't understand what they're understanding. You know what I mean? Like what they're looking at. So it's like, okay, in my town, like there's like 250 people and about 1,200, 1,500 cottagers that live and kind of surround the town. And in that 250 people, there's like 250 people, 4 last names, kind of thing, right? It was a little more than that, but you get the idea. There's clumps. There's like my family, which is a big clump in the town. There's another family, 2 families that are like really dominant, from the settlers and stuff like that. Like we've been here for a while, right? My family well over 100 years just in this area. So over that time, families, it's not uncommon to see like these 4 guys married, women from that family, like there's a lot of that. And that's a high trust society, close knit and stuff like that. And usually from that, you get lots of children, right? Now, you don't get the children you see, say, back in the 1950s and stuff like that, because most people lived on the farms in the 1950s. Like the rural people outnumbered the people in most cities, except for some of the big mega cities. But the average city, more people lived around the city on the outskirts than they did in the city. Which smaller sometimes is better. If it's too small, you stagnate and then you don't grow or whatever. But if you got a neighboring town that's close to another neighboring town, and you have these extended families living amongst each other, a lot of times you have a really well communicated community where it's like everybody just kind of knows everybody, and that creates has tons and tons of benefits. Sometimes, okay, it's a little bit, everybody knows everybody's business. It's a bit annoying, but for the most part, when somebody needs something, there's all these extended families that kind of reach out and help. Somebody's house burnt down, suddenly everybody shows up to help build the house. You got to build a barn, the Amish show up. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Amish built like a mansion-sized barn in like 45 minutes, because 1,000 of the guys show up in one shot, right? And they pick it up and they walk it over there. I don't know. This is one thing I never understood about the Amish. They build a barn and then they pick it up and they lift it. Why not just build it where you got to put it? Save your back. But it is impressive to see a couple hundred guys pick up a building and walk with it. Like that is something to see. I've never seen it in real life, but I'd love to. I just love to see that. That'd be like, just cause it's like it's so cool. You know what I mean? But you get where I'm going with this is that you could see how pronatalism becomes very dominant within the extended family really quickly, because what happens is little Ellie Mae walks into the room and cousin Meredith has just showed up with her brand new little shiny little kicking baby boy or whatever. Oh, let me hold him. Let me hold him. And that's something I remember listening to one woman. She pointed this out. She was around my age, in her 50s or whatever. And she said something that was different now than when she was a kid. And even though she was in a different country, it kind of transcends. Well, look who it is. It's the timeshare dog. There's the girl. Come get petted. There's my Marty. Yeah. There, good girl. Okay. Be gone with you now. Yep. Bad breath. Hey, get away from that. Is that she said, like, when she was younger, like, one thing you don't see now is, like, somebody just passing, like, if you're a female, like, somebody just hands you somebody's baby. Here, hold the baby for a little bit. Burp the baby or whatever. Here, you meet your little cousin, meet your little sister, meet your little whatever. Right? And that's true. So younger women now are not exposed to this because of the nuclear family deteriorating as well. It's like there's just, they don't have any siblings passing them children, which doesn't encourage, women to have kids. It's the opposite. You know what I mean? Like, we won't go into the feminism thing, but all the talking points there of what's more important to them. But the thing is this is why some guys are looking at this, whether they have children or not. They look at it and say, okay, yeah, well, it's at the point where it's like, hey, we're below replacement levels, okay, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a thing, and it does have consequence. And because if it's too far gone, then you lose everything. You know what I mean? You'll lose all those communities. So this is why you'll get guys advocating for it. But then some guys go a little too crazy with the avocation of it. I'll make a clue here.